PKN 312. Kyle was just talking. All right, Kyle, you've been streaming your Rust all the time.
Yeah.
Do you stream it because of the $50 Patreons, or is there like an advantage for you and Mitty to see what you're up to?
No, I stream it for them.
Okay.
If you're a $50 patron, or maybe, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but maybe if you're a 10, you might also get access in there. But definitely if you're a 50, you're in our Discord, and it's the same Discord that I've been using for like 5-6 years to like game on. We just added extra rooms for the patrons. And so like when Mitty and I go to play Rust, we play like duos, like 2-player team Rust. There's that way it's more fair that way. In any case, we get in an audio chat, and then a lot of the $50 patrons will just jump in, which we don't mind at all. It can be lonely, boring business playing Rust in early WoW.
There's a lot of too chatty patrons. There can't be too chatty.
Most of the time I don't mind because I'm cutting trees down or like farming stuff up, and so like I'm happy to talk to somebody because me and Mitty have been sitting there talking for 6 hours. It's nice to have somebody else to jump in. So like there'll be like a dozen of those guys in there sometimes, and just to be nice to them so that they can see what's going on, we'll me and him both will like live stream our points of view of Rust, and so yeah, it's a good time. I like all those guys. So it's a lot of fun. We're already playing Rust, and we're already in that chat room. They're already in there, so might as well stream it to them. But so we've been playing. Normally, Rust servers wipe on Thursdays, but obviously we do PKA on Thursdays. So I don't like to do those because I get a really late start. I'd have to like wait till PKA was done and then start grinding, and I'm tired after PKA. It's midnight by then. So we've been playing on this server that wipes on Saturdays. So Saturday, we start playing Rust, and we're going hard. We're just grinding real hard, and it's going super well. We already had some of the blueprints and from the previous wipe, and that allows us to create certain items that are hard to get at. So we already had guns and such pretty, within 3 hours, we've got our guns and our armor on, and we're really farming hard. I'm getting lots of explosives farmed up, and Mitty's getting lots of like metal and components and gadgets farmed up, and we grinded for 9 hours. We started at 4 p.m. and we went for 9 hours straight. Jesus. And Mitty's starting to get tuckered out. And so I figure since he's getting off, he's going to take an hour-long break. He's going to get off for an hour. And so I'm like, okay. So I shut the base down. I close all the doors and all the hatches, as it were, so we're protected. And I get off for an hour. And I get a text message like 45 minutes after I've been off from Mitty, because I guess he popped back in. He goes, "We've been raided. It's all gone."
It's all gone.
It's all gone.
The whole day wasted.
Do you have all your things in like, if I were to raid your base, do I get all your stuff, or do you, like, because I hate to bring up Minecraft because people fuss, but they would have different compartments, like you might get into one of our armory rooms, but you don't get everything I've ever earned. You'd have to.
It's kind of like the way those ancient Egyptian tombs were. If you get to the sarcophagus, all is lost, right? The main point of the pyramid is protect the body of the king, and then Rust, the main point is protect your tool cupboard, because once they have that's the keys to the kingdom. It allows them to have building privilege over your base. So then they can start adding blocks of their own onto your base and do what's called griefing it, which is ruining it. So that even after it'd be one thing if they just came in and like took all your stuff, your guns and your explosives,
it'd
and then
be
left.
An easy repair, and you just start over-ish.
You just repair the hole they made in the side of your base, and you go back to business. You wouldn't lose your base. But if they get your tool cupboard, then they can just put big walls in the hallways of your base. They can ruin the base such that it's ruined. It'd be like if I broke into your house, robbed you, and then like sealed all the doors shut with stone walls, and you're just like, the fuck did you do that for? You took all my money.
So I know something
Jackie's jewelry
that other people don't know, and I love
and
this.
Now the Game of Thrones room has a giant steel wall right in the middle of it.
Kyle, did you told me they left mean signs behind?
They left mean signs.
That's how confident they were in beating your ass right there. They're like, now let's stone them in and build some insulting signs.
Well, we already had signs
what
up,
did they
but
say?
They had funny stuff on them. Because in Rust, there's this plugin that allows you to like type a command, and then any file that's on the internet, you can throw into a picture frame. So rather than doing this like childish finger painting art, which is what most people do,
we had on Gary's mod way back in the day. Yeah, I remember that.
We had high definition pictures of like Wings of Redemption and what's his name, Dennis Reynolds. You know, the poster of Dennis Reynolds that says like, "This man is a rapist. Have you seen him?" Like stuff like that, like all over the base, like silly little signs, like goofy stuff. And they had just like they had written mean messages on our signs instead. They had replaced them with that.
Can you put any words you want on the signs?
Yes, absolutely, any words you want.
I'm going to look at a free speech game.
There are bases that'll just be covered with the N-word and swastikas and stuff like that. But it'll be on the outside of the base.
But it's okay.
So yeah, they took all of our shit. We did have loot spread out on various loot rooms, but the main loot, the stuff that we had grinded the hardest for, was all in the most secure location, and they got right into that. And so they took 9 hours worth of work. So we just quit. You know, we're like, all right, there's a Saturday every week.
That is how that works.
Next week.
Dude, I want to talk about the Minecraft comparison because it's funny, interesting to me anyway. So you can't get someone else's building privileges. There's no concept of a tool cupboard. You claim that land and it's yours. So you can't build a cannon very close. They claim so much land, it's like beyond visual range, which means that the cannons are kind of imprecise. And the difference is that rather than you're like, hey, they just repair that hole. Well, no. To get to all the different rooms in your base, they have blasted the fuck out of it. There's more than one hole, or that hole is every floor. They've destroyed certainly the wall facing the cannon, and probably the walls on both sides too, because these things are not that precise. And there's water and lava and shit pouring all over them. It's such a mess. Sometimes people decide to just start their base over. It's different game.
It's not a big deal to start bases over. Like I find that most Rust YouTubers are lazy as fuck, and I feel like they want to get on and like work for like an hour and make some content and to get off. It's almost like they don't like the game that they're making content for.
That's
what happens. It seems like to me. And I don't get that, because like when I watch them and they'll be like, their base will be stone, and it's like there's like 6 of them working hard, supposedly working. Meanwhile, me and Mitty over there, like our base is all armor and metal, and like, you know, we work hard to do the things we do. That's why it's so upsetting when that happens. Like,
can they like firebomb your whole base and ruin all of that as they leave? Or is that not something that's even worthwhile?
So they blasted a hole in it using rockets and rocket launchers, which is like the premier explosive to use in the game. You know, you have a handheld rocket launcher and you have rockets, and you know, 4 rockets blows through a stone wall, 8 through a metal wall, like 15 for an armored wall. And they had to go through like a stone, a metal, and an armored wall just to get to the tool cupboard. And they did it perfectly. I mildly suspect they were cheating using ESP, which allows you to see through walls and find the best way to go into something. But the server we're on is really like a practice server. At least that's the way we look at it, because the population is very low. We're just trying to like get back into the swing of Rust. There are servers
get your
with
build orders down, and
sort of, yeah. You know, there's servers where there's like 150 people on all the time grinding, and it's chaos. There's a lot of PvP. We're on a server where there's, you know, 50 people, and you can kind of lay back and relax, and you might get into 1 or 2 gunfights every hour or something like that. We're just trying to like play. It's almost PvE the way we're playing the game. Now our end goal is, of course, to get explosives and then go around and raid everyone. We raided 2 bases that first day. We blew them up with rockets, and we had all their stuff in the base too. But yeah, it's real upsetting when somebody does that, and not only do they take all your things, but they grief the base. like griefing the base was like, there was no reason to do that. We'd never met these guys before.
But have you ever done that?
I only do that if there's animosity between me and the other person. Like if it's just, if I don't know this guy, then I'll just go in, take what I want, and leave.
You think
I don't have time to goof around?
You're famous, right? Did they see the wings and stuff and like?
That's on the inside of the base. Well, and I change my name every wipe cycle.
They could have seen the inside when they decided to grief. Be like, hey, dude, can you believe it? We're in Kyle's base.
I mean, the only thing that would have told you that it was Kyle's base was that there was a picture of Brandy on the wall. You know, like you have to really
pretty identifying.
You have to be a historian.
You have to know who Brandy was, and like That's it. That's the only thing that connects that base to me, and that's a real reach. So no, I don't think so at all. Nobody knows the server. I mean, the patrons know, some of them, like, what servers we play on, but like, this wasn't somebody who hopped in just to goof with me, because they put in a lot of time themselves just to have the explosives required to do this. You know, somebody who comes in to troll somebody comes in and they're like naked outside your base, like an Indian with a shotgun, and they're just gonna like shoot you when you come out and annoy you. And this was a coordinated effort to fuck me in the ass, and they did it. And they even were clearly using, there's a website called Battle Metrics where you can tell when someone gets offline. So like, they were definitely like looking at our names on a third-party website, waiting for us to go and take a break so that they could sweep in and like get in without any resistance.
If you were offline for 45 minutes, it sounds like they used nearly all 45 to get that done.
Yes, it would have taken a good 20 minutes of, like, if they were coordinated and they knew what they were doing, like all right, go, and just continuously like working together. Like, no, you hit that, you hit that, you hit this, you hit that, and then, you know, they got to get the loot out of there, and it probably would have taken 2 trips, and they didn't live anywhere near us because we killed everyone that was near us. Yeah, it's real frustrating, and that's why I love Rust. You know, if the lows weren't that low, the low is so low that when you die, you quit for a week. Like in Call of Duty, you die and you spam the respawn button, right? You're like I got to get back in the next 2 seconds, not 3. But in this game, it's like, I'll see you in a week.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to go rewatch one of my feel-good TV shows so I don't feel so sad.
Are you on the Tarkov subreddit at all, Kyle?
On and off. Yeah, I check it out occasionally.
Yesterday or the day before, one of those. Someone posted, the way he tells it, he infiltrated a cheat Discord server, and the guy was live streaming his cheat. Oh my goodness. Those cheats are so effective. It makes me not want to play Tarkov. You have to see it. And yet also, for people who don't play Escape Tarkov, knowledge is power in that game, right? Like, let's say that the Taylor's a much better player than me, but I know where he is and he doesn't know where I am. I beat a player who's better than me 9 times out of 10. You know, I'm just going to, that knowledge, that information advantage is gigantic. These guys see where other players are. There's these rays that show them what direction the other player is looking. They get to see where loot is, right? So I think every so often, I think I've run into a cheater. It's hard to be sure, right? Because a guy who hits all headshots could be good or he could be a cheater. It's not unless they're moving extra fast or jumping through a doorway, hitting those headshots, that I'm pretty sure. But he could also see what was where all the good stuff was. A big part of Tarkov is finding out where the loot is. And he would see what was in the bags without even having to go up to them. He could go to a loot-rich environment, hit all the best rooms, and skip all the not-so-best rooms. And, like, I might just be like, this place is a bust, not realizing that a cheater got in and out before me.
And he can phase through walls. Like I've seen them go into the Arsenal room and red card room, and, like, invisibly, like, you just hear that noise, you know, when someone picks an item up, click, click, click. The guy turns Arsenal key, which is like the creme de la creme of loot rooms and all of Tarkov. The key to open the main door is like 25 million rubles, which you'd be happy if you just had 25 million rubles for your at all. And then there's another key called the Arsenal key, I believe, to like open the cage door within. I don't know how much they cost right now, probably $1 million. And he's like turning that key, and you just hear click, 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 and he looks at the tables of loot and the shelf of loot, and it's just disappearing because there's an invisible man who has phased through the wall, and he's just Easter egg hunting his favorite.
Why don't you
things.
play that way? That sounds like a blast.
Oh, I do. No, you can't play that way. That's awful. That's cheating.
But if everyone's, it's like the steroids in baseball argument.
That takes. If you were getting paid millions of dollars to win at Tarkov, then yeah, let's download some fucking cheats.
Someone found a quote from Nikita. Now, Nikita is like God of Tarkov. He's the lead developer, and he's kind of, help me, who was the lead Black Ops developer? Who was also like, he took over the PR role too.
Oh, shit. It's been so long.
Right? I forget his name. Anyway, not only is Nikita the actual guy who's in charge of the decisions and leading all the devs, and I think the original dev, But he's also a guy who does a lot of PR. He does podcasts.
He's the Dana White of Tarkov.
Yeah, I like that. An actual decision maker and the public facing guy. Sometimes they're different people. Like when it was, what was his name? 409 or something, 402. He was the face of COD, but he actually had no power. And people would yell at him, but it was a waste of time. That's not the case with Nikita. Anyway, they found a podcast he was on where he's like, yeah, you really want cheaters because cheaters are an important revenue source. They buy 2,000, 3,000 accounts. We ban them and they get all new ones. But you can't have too many cheaters or the regular players will stop coming. You have to have the regular players there as the draw for the cheaters to buy your game over and over. And I was like, what? What? Like these cheaters... Dying in Tarkov is second to like only Rust. Like when things go wrong, you've lost hours of progress. The things it sucks to die in this game. It hurts extra. And you're telling me the lead dev has an attitude towards cheaters that they're a great source of profit. We just have to balance the cheaters versus the victims.
Yep.
Fuck you. It made me not want to play. It made me want to quit Tarkov. Thinking about it enrages me.
Yeah,
I've heard them.
It's complete bullshit. I've heard people talk about that before. Yeah,
right.
I've heard people in Landmark's chat sort of be like, what if Nikita is behind the cheats themselves? What if these guys somehow like get through all the anti-cheat. Like the anti-cheat doesn't stop anything. Landmark's getting killed by the same cheater today as he got killed by 3 days ago, who's like speed hacking and like he calls it dunking on him, where the guy literally flies. Like the guy's there's a doorway in front of him, and the guy jumps so that only his ankles are showing. Like you can't jump high in this game. This game is pretty realistic as far as like how much hops you got. You can jump about 12 inches off the ground. This guy fucking only his ankles are showing as he goes through the doorway. He jumps so high, and Lemar goes, "What the fuck?" And the guy jumps back through, but this time he's shooting from the hip, which is super hard to do because jumping and especially strafe jumping throws your aim like down into the left really hard. So this guy is jumping, flying through the air, and triple headshotting him as he goes. It's just like, think we might have a cheater. I think we might have a cheater.
Well, I'm sure if you cheat against a guy that big, you're immediately...
No!
Oh, you're adorable.
No. 11,000 people watched that guy cheat live. He killed Landmark again 2 days later on the same account.
That is
download his own hops.
How do you spell Nikita? Is it
Nikita?
I can't. I wanted to read the comment. Fuck. Every time I click on this,
that's a real scummy way of looking at things. That's pretty shit. I don't like that a bit. I didn't like a lot of the changes they made a while back to the weight system. That's one of the things that's kept me away. But I really don't like that. And to see how many cheaters there are, like Landmark plays 12 hours a day, so obviously he's going to see a lot more cheaters than the average person. But like he played like 5 labs raids in a row. And 50% were cheaters, like blatant cheaters, like really blatant. It wasn't like, oh, he hit me in the head, and it was like, no, he was running at the speed of light, and he shot me 8 times in the head immediately with a shit tier gun. I saw Landmark kill some cheaters yesterday. It was fucking hilarious, though.
Are you near the beginning of your re-interest in Rust, or do you think you're nearing kind of the second part of the curve here, and you'll be looking for a new game soon?
No, I've been playing Rust for like 3 or 4 wipe cycles in a row now.
Can I read the Nikita tweet? I found it. Yeah. Cheaters are a very tricky situation. They fund you quite a bit of money, and if there is just the right amount, it somewhat forces regular players to spend money on pay-to-win stuff to catch up to the cheaters. But if there's too many cheaters in your game, people leave. The fuck?
Yeah, that's a real scummy thing to say.
You want the right amount of cheaters because they fund you they fund you a lot of money, by the way, because they buy the game, they get banned, they rebuy it. And, they'll ban 2,000 people, 4,000 people in a day. And there's a very high likelihood that means they sell 2,000 to 4,000 more copies of this game. And they try to make their like a proper amount of cheats, it would seem, so that there are victims like me for cheaters to molest. And it makes me Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I don't doubt that he made a bunch of money, but that was a really stupid PR decition to phrase it like that and to announce that. Like,
it's from
I hope Tarkov
2015.
dies.
So
I wish Tarkov would die, honestly, just because of that. And I don't like that. I don't like a lot of the stuff that they do. I don't like his attitude in general. He just seems like a scummy guy. I don't like the whole mindset that the game shouldn't be fun. Like, it's one thing if you want the game to be hardcore, but it's a game. It should be fun. Fucking checkers are fun. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, he's backed off. I think that was just a poorly phrased thing or joke that people latch onto. But what I want, and I think you do too, is for a AAA studio to see Tarkov and be like, ooh, let's try that. Let's build a Tarkov that isn't so easily cheated in. You know, let somebody. I think part of the problem is Battlestate Games. They make Tarkov. They're Russians. And they don't have the same talent pool that like an American studio would have. So they're all there kind of over their heads. They've made these horrible design decisions to put so much in the client early on that with the client being king, it's very easy for your computer to just tell it like, hey, this guy has max stats on everything. Speed, endurance, strength, etc. Like his recoil control. Every time they enter a raid, everything goes straight to 51, which is the highest level. And because client is king, the server doesn't like check it. They just say, oh, okay, I got it. I guess this guy earned max stats.
It's above that though. Like, they should be able to check speed hackers, right? Because they're going faster than anyone will ever be able to go. And that guy that was somebody that was jumping, max jumps strength doesn't get you there. Like right. His ankles are all that are showing as he goes through a doorway. He has jumped 4 feet into the fucking air.
We had that problem on WoodyCraft, right? So, it is difficult for me to tell when you're speed hacking versus when you're lagging, right? And you've seen it in game before. Is it like as a non-cheater, you catch up to your friend and then your friend like races ahead, that rubber banding. And it's like, all right, but if the guy rubber bands for 3 minutes, you know he's cheating. That's a speed
or over
hack.
time. You know, it should be a flag. It should
right.
flag like, hey, he went fast one time. All right, well. He gets
keep an eye on that guy. That's how we did it, literally. Like there was a metric, and like every time you behaved, it sort of pulled you into the safe zone, and every time you misbehaved, and we'd look at it. And some things were auto bans, like if you were pretty obscene, it would auto ban. Other things like headshots would just flag a guy, and we'd look at like the top guys and be like, this bonehead, like no one's KD ratio is 70. You know, even Landmarks isn't 70. So it should be easy to look at a KD like that. And
I wonder what Landmark's KD is. I don't know if it factors. I know he's got like 8,500 PMC kills, which is human kills.
It's crazy.
That's a lot.
But
Sounds like a lot. There's a lot of
he's played more of the game than anyone else who plays the game in the world. Like not just streamers, but like there's a race to get to level 70, which is max level. There's no way anybody's ahead of him because he plays 12 hours a day, every day. And he's one of the best in the world. Like, there's no way that anyone else has that same consistency and skill set. It's impossible.
If I played as much as him, which I don't, I might have half the XP, right? Because he just does so well every session, every raid.
Yeah, you'd be level 55, 60 maybe. But, you know, because it's easier to get to 69. Going from level 1 to 69 is the same thing as going from level 69 to 70.
Yeah,
that last level is gargantuan. It's millions and millions of XP, and a great raid might be 15,000 XP. So it's like you need to like kill it a couple thousand raids in a row, and then you go from 69 to 70. And raids can be anywhere from 15 to 40 minutes long.
Yeah, at the level I play, like I made the first 10 levels in one night. Okay.
Yeah,
and then. Like last wipe, I went from like level 44 to 45 in like a week. You know, that's the difference. So
yeah, it sucks that game has to be that way. It's a great concept of a game. I don't think any AAA title would make a game like that because there's so much going on there. It seems like games like that get made by smaller studios. Like Scum is a game that's even more insane. I don't know if you ever played any Scum.
Is it the prison one?
That's where you are like a released convict who's being like controlled by a player somewhere. That's sort of the premise of the game. You've all got implants in the back of your head. Dude, you get diarrhea in the middle of a fight.
That's too real.
I know exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's way too much in going on. Like you'll be fighting and your player will be like, oh, that cuttlefish is not sitting well. And you literally, it goes to like a third person viewpoint. You drop your pants and you diarrhea everywhere out of your ass right there. While you're supposed to be fighting, there's guys like coming at you with guns and like trying to kill you.
Fiber stats. And like
I like to think 1% of the players have a peanut allergy.
Yeah, they're just diarrhea everywhere. Just that's why I bought my own server when we were playing that game, so that I could it wasn't like I spent a lot of money. I don't know. It was like $50 or something to have your own scum server. But then I'm God, right? I can just click, clack, and we can have things because it's way more extreme than Tarkov. It's like a mix between Tarkov and Rust, except you get diarrhea and you have to piss and you have to eat a lot in that game. Like you might think like, oh yeah, I ate a fish an hour ago. We're good. It's like, no. Your guy's hungry, bro. He's gonna starve out. You got to go find some MREs or you're
even I can go an hour without food.
Yeah, I don't want
character.
That. No, is it like a calorie counter and hard exert? Calorie realism.
There's so many bars. Like Tarkov has like 2 bars for stamina. Like this game has it's like this. It's like 10 bars. You're like, oh, I don't know. My guy's feeling a bit conflicted right now. My confliction. He feels a bit guilty about that last guy he killed. It appears I'm suffering from PTSD. I'm going to have to go attend an actual therapy session. Like you, the player. No. My character, he's got to go sit through one, but I've got to be there with him.
Dude, I don't like the realistic shitting model in this game. I like the unrealistic shitting model that I do in Skyrim and recently Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's like once every 4 days, I will make Arthur eat 35 apples. And that's all he gets. Other than that, it's just whiskey to make his dead eye better, and then like occasionally cigarettes to make his dead eye better, whatever he has.
Does your Red Dead character get fatter and thinner? Do they have that in there?
Not on this diet.
They do in Scum. They do in Scum. It's so funny in Scum. Your character like over time, like you could tell who was like paying attention to their diet. Like some people were just like, I'm just going to eat 8 pounds of sugar and go to war. That'll do it, right? 8 pounds of sugar, that's a lot of calories.
Dude,
8 pounds of sugar.
Kyle, have you given any thought to upgrading your gaming PC? I know you're like cutting edge now-ish. Maybe your CPU.
I don't know what. Yeah, because I think
recently, didn't you? Or GPU or something.
Like last year. I don't know. Yeah, everything's fairly new. I've got 2080 Ti, and I don't remember what CPU. I'm probably a gen behind on CPU, but I don't know what benefit I would get really, because like I would have to upgrade my peripherals to get a benefit. Because right now I've got a 1080p monitor at 144 hertz, so I'd either have to get a 240 hertz monitor or a 4K monitor to really require any hardware upgrade.
1080p, are you able to get 144?
Oh no, excuse me, not 1080p. It's 1440. It's 1440, 144
so
hertz.
I bet you bet you don't get all that in Tarkov. 144 is a lot of frames for Tarkov.
I don't think you can. I thought that the most you could get in Tarkov was like 100.
No, I see streamers who do more than that, but I mean the benefit must be pretty low. I'm guessing this. So the reason I brought it up, NVIDIA put out a tweet today. It's been rumored that their 3080s come out in September, midway. And they put out a tweet today that's like, new things coming soon with some obscure like modem dial-up video audio thing. And I don't know if the scientists have gone out there and figured out like what number it's calling, or like I don't know if there's any like hidden message. Watch them call like 3080, 3080, 3080 or something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's confirmed, the rumors confirmed, that the new GPU comes out next month. So I think I'm a couple gens on CPU. I need to upgrade.
Yeah, I might get a new CPU. I could see doing that sometime soon, but I just have no need for a new GPU, I don't think. Because like I'm going to play Halo. I'm probably going to play Halo 3 this week. And then I know that the new Halo, because Halo 3 is remastered, that just came out with that a couple weeks ago. And then whatever the new Halo is, Halo Infinity or whatever the fuck they're calling it, that got delayed till next year. So like it's a while before that even comes out. And I don't like the way it looks anyway. It looks kind of like shit. So right now I'm playing a lot of Rust, and that's the only thing that's really on the horizon for me to play. I could see playing, like going back and playing some Skyrim or something.
Is Rust very demanding on a computer?
I think it is a little. I only get about 100, 105 frames.
Oh, yeah. I'd probably do worse. I have a 1080 Ti, which is okay. You know, it's good, but it'll be 2 generations behind in a month. So good to upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. 100 frames is kind of fine for the way I play that game, though. Honestly, it looks good. I've got the graphics turned down to like medium high or something like that. And but yeah, that's all I'm really interested in playing right now is some Rust. You know, it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna see if I can drag Larry over with me. He offered to play a couple weeks ago and he downloaded it, so I might pick up Larry and play some 3-man Rust.
Nice.
Next Saturday for a week. Well, until somebody kills us all, I guess, and takes all of our things and writes mean messages in our base again. Like that's what I've been doing today.
I've have 6 cooldown days.
Yeah, I've been looking at base designs. I'm like, we got to build a bigger base. We got to build a bigger base, tougher base.
Have you thought about the mine shaft bases? Because I've watched a little Rust on YouTube. It doesn't make me an expert.
Those.
Oh, okay.
Those are.
So
they
there's
got rid of those?
Yeah, there's mine shaft bases that the video made it seem like it was impossible to raid. Like you would have to blast through so much dirt to get there, and to go down the actual mine shaft itself, you couldn't do it without killing yourself, and like it was a real problem to raid it. But I guess they figured out a way around it.
They patched that.
Yeah, they made it so you couldn't build in the central. Like caves have, like 4 different designs that they like sort of like become, and they made it so you couldn't build within one of the biggest chamber, the deepest chamber of caves. Plus, I hate living in caves. It's dark all the time. Like, don't think like a little cave, Taylor, where you just like walk in a little entrance in a rock and like, all right, we're here, like an igloo. Don't think igloo. Think like cave system, where you're like holding a torch and walking down through a drippy corridor and down and down and down. It's no fun.
I wouldn't like that either. It would be depressing. It's only not
depressing.
Minecraft because it's all 8-bit and it's like, this is silly.
Also, in Minecraft, if you do, like, we didn't do it on ours, but you can make inside nice. You can light it. You can have an underground city that's beautiful. What you can line the walls with pink wool if you want to, and make it your happy space. You don't even need to really know you're downstairs.
Well, the stream after we did it, when I did it with Mitty, he really took charge on finding a new area and building a house.
On me, yeah. Tell me more about your affair with Mitty.
Same server, so and there's still 2 beds there. That's all I'll say. You know, that's
yeah. We don't have the same server, so totally, I wouldn't expect to find your shit lit on fire like like Carrie Underwood would do.
like
I get the name right with the song.
His like house that Mitty made. I was like, this is pretty nice. This is spacious. He made the ceilings nice because like I was like on a solo server, so just messing around with it a couple weeks ago, and I built my house, which was like a 5x5 block with just the roof right where my head was, and I'm like, this is upsetting. I don't like this. I'm gonna go dig a mine shaft more and just live off the land. But yeah, I guess it didn't cross my mind at the time to actually put effort in and build something bigger. But it should have, because that seems to be the purpose of the game, right?
You can make Rust bases really nice too, but we just never bother doing it. It's just kind of, we don't have time for that. You know, they'll put rugs on the floor and bear skins on the wall. Like if you get to that point, then you've already kind of beaten the game. Now you're just looking for something else to do.
When you play on a well done server, you can like efficiently farm carrots, for example, sell them to the server for in-game money, and then buy what you actually want. So that's how people get all their wool and things like that. They just
there's a lot of like vending machines in the Rust world where you can focus on just getting lots of one thing and get really good at getting that. And then you can use that as like, you can trade that for another, and then you can trade the thing you traded for everything else. Like the big thing right now that people are doing is making hemp farms in the game. So you have like a big hemp farm, and you have computer controlled watering systems like sprinklers. Mm-hmm. And you have to go so far as to pick the correct genetics for each hemp plant. And then clone that plant over and over. Once you've got the best genetics for the plant that'll grow the fastest and produce the most hemp per plant, and you can have a multi-floor automated watering system with sprinklers that, like, it makes so much hemp every day that you can trade that hemp, which creates cloth, for scrap, which is essentially the currency of Rust. And it's better than just playing regular Rust. Like it's more efficient than just playing Rust. Like you can just become a hemp farmer and now like you're just like going to the vending machine with like 50,000 cloth in your inventory and just ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching,
Now, how
ka-ching.
easy would it be for me to ruin your hemp farm or profit from your hemp farm? Like,
You'd have to blow the base up, you know, and you'd also
so
have
the
to know
base
there
is
was a hemp.
inside walls.
Yeah.
Well,
the hemp farm's on the an indoor hemp farm. It's certainly not outside where somebody could just come up and start picking my hemp.
Yeah, so like there's
It's
automated
an indoor
farms in Minecraft, but all you do is steal like as much as you can hold, which is the last few hours of production. And okay, like I'm gonna give it to you if you want. I don't give a fuck, right? Like it's did I lose 2 hours of production? That's fine.
No, see, people are mean in Rust. They'll come and grief you for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
like if they see you have a turret outside your, like nowadays the way auto turrets work, there's a weapon that you have to put inside this auto turret, and it sort of scans and it automatically shoots people. So if they break your auto turret, they get that gun. It falls out. But it used to be that you just made an auto turret and it had a machine gun in it, and once you break it, you don't get anything. People would still break them. People would still like see that you had an auto turret over on your base, and they would go and make a compound bow with 90 fucking arrows, because that's how many it takes, and they would just meticulously shoot it 90 fucking times from a distance, so to deprive you of an auto turret.
That would happen on Woodycraft too. The thing is, and I'm sure there's a Rust parallel, it's not that profitable. You know, like, oh, well, you're going to destroy my automatic carrot farm? Like, it will cost you so much to build a cannon that shoots past the claimed land to destroy some carrots. Like, you're really griefing you.
Yeah. That's the different. That's one of the big differences, I think, because in Rust, you know, you just make rockets, and like you can use those rockets for anything. You're not constructing a stationary cannon that's now there, and you've kind of use it or lose it kind of situations. Like I'll build 50 rockets and they can do anything. I might use 4 of them on this guy or 3 on this guy, or I might use all 50 on a giant base. And
right. Now imagine if you had to use those rockets to shoot the ground to do any griefing. You'd be like, well, fuck, I took out his hemp plant, but it took me 12 hours to earn that rocket. So that, you know, it took him 5 minutes to plant. Yeah.
People are scumbags. In Rust, they're real awful people.
It's the voice chat. It's the voice chat.
The voice chat's a big part of it, but they'll just behave in a horrific way. It's I'm so used to it. Like I was taking one of the monuments the other day. Like I was taking the oil rig by myself. Nobody was online, and there's a timed crate that I'm waiting to tick down from 15 minutes to 0. That then it'll open and I'll get a lot of gear and a lot of loot out of it. So right now I'm just sort of 4 stories up on an at-sea oil platform, looking toward the main island in case somebody tries to come and take it from me. And I see a boat coming with 2 fucking people in it. And I'm like, oh no, they're coming. But I've got a sniper rifle, which is a very high-end piece of gear. And I snipe the passenger out of this boat, you know, really far away. He drops dead. And the boat turns around and heads back to shore. And I shoot that person in the ass, but I don't kill her. And then she goes over the chat, like the global chat. She goes, that was rude. And I was so like befuddled by that response. I was like, rude. You have no idea what rude is. Like you don't even know. Rude would be spending the next 8 hours literally outside your base calling you the N-word and just screaming it in the most awful voice I could muster, and then just killing you every time you come out. That's rude. I just shot your friend. She's like, well, we just like to have fun. I was like, so do I. That's why I shot him. That's why I shot him. She's like, can I have his stuff back? I'm like, no, you can't have his stuff back. It's my stuff now. She's like, oh, well, we didn't have very much. And I'm just like, oh, all right.
Well, I guess they were rude. Yeah.
Just hurting my feelings. I feel like I'm bullying this girl on Rust.
I was playing Tarkov, and I thought I had enough stuff, right? I had a successful raid. And some guy is stalking me, and I hear him, and it's like, aha, like I felt like I had an information advantage on him. I blast him, and he comes to my chat. I guess he recognized like WoodysGamertag killed him, and he starts asking for his stuff back, and I'm like, yeah, bro, if you ask for your stuff back, I give it to you. I don't give a fuck. I'm rich in Tarkov, and then my chat is like, what do you know? He's being a dick. I can't see everything they say, and I'm like, like I look through it and I'm like, it's not that bad. Like I'll still save his stuff. And they're like, he's being racist. And I look and he's calling my chat a bunch of brothers, kind of. And,
Okay.
and I'm like, all right, hey, whatever his name was, I want you to know the second you turn racist is when you lost all your shit. And I took all of it. Like we had the same helmet. I'm like, I'm throwing my helmet. Insurance fraud. If people play Tarkov know that. I took it. I was like, that was when you did that. I want you to look back on this and recognize that was when I decided to take everything you owned.
Yeah, we've done the exact same thing. Like playing with Larry. Larry's streaming, and somebody came into his stream, and they had been stream sniping us using Larry's stream, and then he starts begging for his stuff back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna throw away better gear just so I can take your gear. Like I was gonna take this M4 out with me, but no, I'm gonna take your bullshit AK to deprive you of it, and then I'm gonna delete it when I get back to my stash.
I've done that on stream. Yeah, I get people's stuff, I get it out of raid, and just to spite them, destroy it. Just destroy. Like I'm not even keeping it. It won't be. I'm just gonna ruin it. No one has it now because it's like a flex for people that don't play the game. I have 20-some million rubles at this point. Like my money problems are past me. So so I'll just flex on them and destroy that gun they didn't want to lose so much.
That's another mean thing you can do to people in Rust is despawn their items. Like that's what they were doing to us. Like they took everything. They're like that squirrel that has its cheeks full of nuts, and it just wants one more. But then he finally gets that one wedged in. It's with these fucking nuts in his mouth, and then it's just like, well, let me ruin all the other nuts so that no one can have them. It just takes all of our like nuts out of boxes and puts them on the ground, so that they just despawn. Like we get there, and there's just shit piled up all over the floor, all of our like mediocre stuff that they just didn't want apparently. So they're just making sure we don't get it back.
They're just making a mess.
Insult making a mess.
Unfortunate.
It's a toxic fucking game, man. Can't wait to get back to.
I haven't looked into it much yet, but I saw briefly yesterday. There was something like Trump was talking at the White House, and he had to get ushered back in by the Secret Service because they thought someone was shooting at him or at someone or whatever.
Shooting near the White House.
Do they know yet?
Well,
there's a shooting near the White House.
What I do know for sure is the Secret Service shot a guy, and that guy made it to the hospital. And that's as updated as I am. I
didn't know.
Did that guy have a gun for sure? Did that guy live?
I saw one clip of a guy walking with a gun in his hand, and like he's in a t-shirt, and he like lifts his hand to say hi, and then gets just shot in the stomach with what looks like a beanbag or something, and goes down. Let me see if I can find that.
This guy went to the hospital, which implies to me he got good and wounded, not a beanbag hit. But
that's what I was curious about, because I didn't know if the guy I saw today, if this video was a different guy that's fucking around making threats but not shooting. Like I wasn't sure.
Beanbags are legit though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Carry on. You know more.
You'd want to go to the like if you got shot in the stomach, like literally in like the stomach part of your stomach, not the ribs. I think you'd be all right. You'd have a real bruise. Like don't think paintball bruise. Think like this big, like 5 inches across. This
like
big
Taylor
nasty
fall
bruise.
out of bed bruise.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like Taylor.
Not quite that intense.
Like Taylor headbutted you, Bruce. But if you get shot in the ribs, it'll absolutely break your ribs. It might break your rib, throw it into a lung, and fucking kill you. If you get shot in the head, it will kill you. Because it's this really hardy cloth that's of a beanbag full of shotgun shot, like bird shot. So and they go fast. I've shot like mannequins with them to try to get some kind of a visual effect, and it's like, oh, it just goes right through them, huh?
I bet I'm wrong on this, Kyle. In my head, they're the size of a cornhole beanbag. How big are they really? They're much smaller.
No,
right?
They're not. So they make 40mm grenade launcher rounds that are like that shoot the fucking cornhole bag at you, and that'll fuck you right up. That'll might kill a motherfucker.
Right? If you put the cornhole bag in a shotgun, it might travel pretty slow. Like I might even catch it.
It wouldn't fit. You know.
Well,
12 gauge is like the size of a nickel.
You'd have to roll it around, right? Like you'd have to turn it into a tube and like.
It just come out like a silly spaghetti snake or something, you know. It just would. You need this thing to like fold back and be exactly the size of like the shotgun barrel, so that when it comes out, it usually has a tail to stabilize it, like fin stabilization, but it's like a strip of leather or cloth that trails behind it,
like a kite tail.
Yeah, like a kite tail. And so that's traveling behind it, keeping it stable so it's not like falling end over end or spinning or anything, ideally. But they're small. It's like getting shot with. I'll just find a picture of
Once
one.
I thought about it, I knew I was wrong, but I was like, yeah, they take a cornhole. You can roll a square into a cylinder. I was like, that must be what it's like. And then in the air, it spreads out. Like, wait a minute, that thing's so heavy. I don't think a shotgun would throw it. You might catch it with your hand if they tried to throw something that heavy. The shotgun, that is.
Probably
well, these guys are still in business.
Who's in business?
American Specialty Ammo. I used a lot of their products back in the day. All this nonsense.
I'm not
American
finding
Specialty Ammo. They make a lot of nonsense stuff.
The shooter story is dead now. I guess because Biden announced his VP. That's dominating my little thing.
Yeah, and I guess because they caught him too. Like, if they hadn't caught him, it'd probably still be a bigger thing. But they shot him and nabbed him. But you haven't heard anything about him, which, why else do you go to the White House, though, and shoot guns unless you want to kill the president? Seems like a pretty open and shut thing to do, right?
When you say it that way, it sounds, that or commit suicide.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go. So
well,
he
wouldn't have missed if it was number 2.
So if you look in the top
suicide
left
by cop.
image.
Oh, okay.
So if you look in the top left image, you can see it's a little bag sort of tied in a knot. So that there's the side on the left is full of shot, which is tiny BBs of lead. And then the right side is like the stabilizing like cloth that drags behind.
That's the tail. So
Trauma pain appliance.
Hydrokinetic impact bag, as they're called over here on lesslethal.com. I shot Jeremy with some of these tridents. They're on the top right. I shot him in the back with one of those. He didn't like it.
What do you think's worse, the beanbag or those? I would guess the beanbag.
The beanbag,
right?
1,000%. The trident was. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't have
Jeremy
guessed.
ended up.
Oh, there's 3 in there.
There's 3 in there, but they're smaller, so less mass, less impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're made of rubber instead of lead. So again, less kinetic energy.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like getting shot. It's like a bad paintball.
It's making sense the way you say it, but I guess I thought that with the tail, it would lose so much speed that it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe it depends on distance. I don't know.
Aerial warning bang. Cool.
At 30 yards, you're getting fucked up.
Yeah.
With that beanbag. However, with the buckshot, like I shot Jeremy with that buckshot at like fucking almost point blank range. like if anybody wants to see the video, we were just watching it last night because it's so mean. It's called shot, pepper sprayed, and tased or something like
Tattooed, maybe.
That's not in the title, but I do tattoo him at the end of the video. It's so funny. We were talking about this whole thing last night. How like Jeremy was just perfect for that sort of thing. Like I paid him $250, something like that, and the free tattoo, which some would see as a negative, but Jeremy saw as a positive. And at the beginning, I shoot him right in the back with that rubber buckshot, and I think he plays it up a little bit. He falls on the ground, which annoyed me. I was like, we're not here to fake things. If it doesn't hurt, then fucking say it doesn't hurt. I did not like when he dropped to the ground because I knew I hadn't knocked him to the ground.
Right.
He was play acting.
Getting shot in a movie, right? Like,
he didn't want to keep getting shot, though. He didn't want to get blasted.
I mean, he already been blasted. I already shot him in the back with the buckshot.
I know, but if he had stood there, you would have pumped another 5 rounds of that into him, and he knows that.
The first round did not take effect. Just give him another. No, I wouldn't have done that. But what I did do is next came the taser. And so I popped him once with the taser, and he hits the ground, and he moans and screams, just with his face on the ground, not even trying to keep his face out of the dirt, just like complete lockup.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, and my adrenaline's going, my heart's going. So like time is going really quickly. And for me, and so what was 5 seconds and is a pretty decent amount of time on video, 5 seconds, time's relative though. I felt like, oh man, that's not enough content. Let's give him another jolt. Because this thing goes in 5 second bursts. There's no control. It's just 5 at a time.
Are they all like
Every time
that?
you pull
Do
the
you know?
The X26 is, which is like the main one cops use.
Okay.
And so I give him 5 more seconds, and you can hear it. Oh! As it goes pop, 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 you know, that taser noise. And I turn around, I can't keep a straight face. I'm like, well, I couldn't resist. I had to give him a second jolt. I had to. And then I pepper spray him. And I pepper spray him with the same shit that I've been pepper sprayed before before. It's
a rough day.
Most people think
CS
pepper spray's
jazz.
worse. I think
They're wrong.
you think taser's worse.
Yeah. The pepper spray lasts for 20 minutes and it hurts and it sucks. But the taser is a transcendent experience from everything I've seen and heard. Like the pepper spray for me was medium discomfort, not mild discomfort, not extreme discomfort, medium discomfort.
Okay.
I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it, but it was over in like 15 minutes of rinsing. And then I went back to the gun store with my face all swollen up. And I was like, that was some good shit you gave me. And they're like, oh, what happened? I was like, what do you mean what happened? Scott
You had to make sure it was real.
Scott soaked my face in it. That's what fucking happened. And they're like, we didn't think you were serious. I was like, what did you think I was doing? I got a fucking 1911 on my hip. What do I need pepper spray for if I'm not spraying myself in the face with it? So like, I didn't mind it at all. Now, I didn't enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But Jeremy was crying after the taser. You know, he gets up and there are tears in his eyes. It's extreme pain.
I do, and I
5
don't
seconds.
want to try both. See, here's the thing. What you said ties into my perception. It's that pepper spray is a problem for 15, 20 minutes. And then even an hour later, you're not back at baseline. Your face is swollen. You're like post-injury.
It's like a very mild sunburn an hour later. Like very mild. It's warmth.
So I've never been tasered, but I have been, electrocuted and I've been stunned gunned, and the second that ends, you're like sort of coming to grips with what just happened, but you're okay. The experience is behind you.
This is so much more extreme. So I've been electrocuted by I've
like
110 volts.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
110 volts. I've had 220, but it was an electric motor, and I definitely didn't get good contact because I was wearing shoes and stuff. So 220 can fucking kill you.
Okay.
So and obviously I didn't die. So I've felt the pain of that before, and me and you have goofed around with that cheap little 9-volt stun gun I had.
Gun. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that taser, man, is a whole nother. It'll drop a cow. Like it's complete neuromuscular lockdown. It's one electrode is in his shoulder, the other is in his thigh. So the electricity is traveling between those 2 points, and so the back is the largest major muscle group, and it's getting his back, his ass, his thighs, like all of his biggest compound muscle groups are convulsing to their maximum. Your muscles have never convulsed like that. Your brain can't produce that kind of voltage. They've never done that before, ever. And they're doing it like 20 times a second or something for 5 seconds. Just, and like people shit themselves.
But
people
it does
piss themselves.
end as soon as it ends, right? Like
it does. It does. Would you rather spend my cop buddy was like, would you rather spend 5 seconds in hell or 20 minutes on a hot beach? You take your pick. I'll take the hot beach. That's what pepper spray always was to me. Now, if you're gonna pepper spray my ass and leave me in the back of a cop car for half an hour with no way to clean up, and I'm just rubbing it deeper and deeper, or maybe just like getting worse and worse, that's a different story. But if you've got water, you're good. It's no big deal at all.
Yeah, I think my opinions is heavily influenced by something I saw on TV, and he made the argument that I did, that he's like, the taser is terrible. You're not doing anything while you're being tased. But then once it's over, like in this case, it was a woman doing self-defense, not a cop doing pain compliance. And he's like, but once it's over, like if I wanted to, I could make a run at her. He says, on the other hand, pepper spray, I'm out of the game. I'm out of the game for 15, 20 minutes. Like I want nothing to do with anything but dealing with this eye problem.
Some water.
Now, as a caveat to that, I saw that a long time ago. Like it might be 10 years ago or better. So batteries could be stronger now. Like it could be a whole different thing than a 15-year-old taser.
I don't know. The X20. So there's a really good a lot of the personal defense tasers. You shoot them, then you drop it, and they go for 10 seconds. So you're running away while they're riding the lightning on the ground. like it looks like a Star Trek phaser a little bit, or actually looks like an electric razor is what it really looks like. And it's pink. It's called the Jogger, I think.
Okay.
And you pop, and then you drop the thing and you run away while they're on the ground convulsing for the next 10 seconds.
Jesus Christ, these are expensive as shit.
X26?
Which one?
The Pulse, personal defense taser. It was like the first one, $450. Just buy a gun, man. At this point,
I mean, so not every application calls for a firearm, right?
I don't know. Can you take a taser everywhere? Like, that's one of the problems with guns. You're not supposed to bring it to the mall, the movie theater, any place that sells a ticket.
Yeah, I can't speak on that too well. I'll tell you what I would do if I didn't have a record or anything. That seems like one of those things where you could ask forgiveness for later, right? Like, I know lots of girls who would like carry their pepper spray or their tasers at school because, like, fuck you, first of all. I'm not going to be using it on anybody at school unless they need it. And second of all, like, what are you going to do to me? You're going to suspend me for a day? I'll take the day. This is so I don't get raped in a parking lot. Fuck you.
Kyle actually helped me with this. Everyone comes to Kyle for personal defense advice. But he's like, yeah, it was Hope going away to school. And this was she's leaving the nest for the first time. And he's like, yeah, here's good pepper spray. This is stuff that I suggest. Here's a test one. So, if it's ever game day, it's not the first time she's pulled the trigger. And I was like, that's smart. I probably wouldn't have done that without his tips. So
yeah, tell her to shake that thing like anytime she thinks about it, anytime she gives it a thought, give it a real good shake. Because if you don't shake it, it sort of sputters and doesn't like the solids sink to the bottom, and so you get this kind of action, and it's just like, this was to defend my life, and you really want that shit to work.
Hers was on her keychain, which might provide a little natural shaking, but
sure, that is
still
helpful.
good advice.
Yeah. If it's been just sitting on a shelf,
flashlight, it's not actually a taser; it's a stun gun flashlight. That just looks really cool. It just it's probably not that effective. A gun's better. A stun gun or a taser.
Stun guns suck. You don't want a stun gun unless you're like some sort of. So the X26 taser system is both. You can use it as a stun gun once you deploy the cartridge. Now it's a stun gun, so you're not completely unarmed anymore. You can still electrocute people at your leisure, but those cartridges don't always work.
Okay.
They don't always pierce the person. They don't always hit the person.
I always have a knife. Like, always. My experience is a lot of people who claim they always have a gun actually don't. Like, there's times when they don't have a gun. My knife is part of my, like, wallet, keys, and phone, and a Leatherman. And
I would hate to deal with someone with a fucking knife. That's a scary proposition.
Yeah. It'd be a real problem. And I use it so much, not on people, obviously. But I can find that thing in my pocket, orient it without looking at it, and pop it out with my thumb. Like, that would probably be the best move.
I would be afraid of, all you got to do is find one guy who's been in a knife fight, and you're bringing a knife to that gentleman's fight now. And so, like, that's a scary prospect. Like, I've only used knives for knife things, like skinning
boxes.
Animal. I've never done that with a knife. I don't know what I would do. Do I hold it like I'm going to come down? Do I try and slash?
I don't mean to be Johnny Tough Guy, but I think it's hard to get the knife out of your hand. If you have a knife in your hand and my goal is to get it out, I'm going to get fucked up.
I'll show you how to hold a knife.
I got a little knife. Do you go like this? Do you go?
I imagine I would do this action.
I would imagine waving it around like a crazy person and backing up would be the right move if you don't know how to knife fight. Or throw the knife at like this. You're bastard.
So you want to hold your knife like this because now you can't get wrist control. I've got the blade like right here. I can stab and I can slash. And
Kyle's
you can't grab my
got
wrist.
That's not a knife thing going on right here.
That's literally not a knife you have there.
Really? It's 3 inches. That's what it is. I don't know how small it looks, but it's not big. It's not. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I'd prefer yours, but I can't keep that in my pocket all the time. I actually have this. I didn't have to go get it. That's the
this
argument.
This was magnetized to the refrigerator at all times.
Well, which helps if you're in the kitchen and you think of it first. But I don't know. That's like one of my
No, I hear you.
There are a
I'm
lot
kidding.
of
This is a
gun
fucking,
owners.
This is a fucking kitchen knife.
Yeah,
Like,
obviously, yeah.
You don't walk around with this. This
Obviously,
is a really
you
nice
don't.
knife.
But I think a lot of people like
Is it a Wusthof?
I don't want to name names, but I know a guy who said he
Wusthof
carries a
German. This is
1911.
Japanese.
Carries a 1911 all the time. He says, I doubt it. And more than
No,
once,
nobody
I've
does
been like, show me your 1911. Well, it's in the drawer.
Dude, you look like a fucking goober if you're walking around in real life with a 1911 on your hip all day, every day.
I couldn't.
All
hide
you're
it.
doing is like, if there is going to be violence, you're just making it so whoever's about to start is going, all right, so first and foremost, we got to take care of that guy.
Every once
You
in
see
a
Dirty
while,
Harry over there? We got to deal with that first.
every once in a while, there's a guy whose whole wardrobe revolves around his gun. Like, I'm just a Hawaiian shirt guy. Yeah, all right. So that one guy conceals his gun, but most people don't.
Yeah, I didn't like hip holsters. I've never liked hip holsters for actually carrying guns. You know, if you're on a fucking YouTube video, it's one thing, or if you're like actively shooting, you know, hip holster's great. But can't think of what I like behind in the small of the back. I like to keep guns there. I could reach back really handily and have it out and ready to go, like a nice soft leather holster, or appendix holsters is inside the waistband. Below your, you know, in your basically on your underwear line, really kind of pointed right at your cock and balls. So you want to be careful what kind of gun you put down there. You know, maybe not something with like a hair trigger, single action
No
kind of
safety,
semi-automatic or something. You know, you probably want like a
That's going to keep me on edge.
yeah, you want something with a serious trigger pull. The gun I kept down there was like a Car 40, like a 40 caliber Car semi-automatic pistol. The trigger pull on that thing is outrageous. There's no way I was going to accidentally blow my dick off. But you know, that's a major concern, right?
Carry it somewhere else, right?
I'll take a beating or a robbing every day of the week if it means I never blow my dick and balls off.
Big
right?
concern, small
I'll
target.
keep one in that new ridge I have in my ass meat. That'll be perfect. A little subcompact. Yeah.
No, I like pocket guns. I would keep a gun in maybe a DeSantis holster. People probably don't know that, but it's basically designed so that when it goes in your pocket, it doesn't twist around and go upside down and shit like that.
Yeah.
So if you were to reach in and grab your gun, it would come out the right way. And that's
Yeah, I could keep that little LCP like in a jean pocket. You know, I mean, it fits in there along with like a phone or something. It's so fucking small. But I'm just so bad with an LCP. I never felt confident in that thing. I was like, well, maybe I'll just like shoot at them and they'll be frightened. God, there's no way I can hit them. I couldn't.
Kyle
hit 'em.
said
Like,
that,
thought you
and I
said
was
the
like,
LCR.
"That's odd." Here's the one situation where I'm a better shooter than Kyle, and then I
Absolutely.
like tested it. No, I'm terrible. Also, I can't hit shit
What
with it.
about
I
the
was so
Ruger
bad with
LCR?
it.
I thought you said you
LCR
didn't mind
LCR is
that.
the revolver.
He likes that
Yeah.
one more.
'Cause I was looking to get one of those when I was thinking more seriously about carrying every day.
Yeah, I
Not
would
really
carry the
anything.
LCR in the small of my back. That's the revolver for those listening. It's a Ruger revolver. I think mine was 38.
Hammerless one. Yeah, 38.
Yeah, I like hammerless for concealed carry. You don't want a big metal hook on the back of your gun that can get caught on a waistband or a belt loop or skin or anything.
And it's going to be a heavy trigger pull, so you won't shoot your penis off.
Heavy trigger pull is good, especially if you're carrying the thing around with you all the time. It's not a target pistol. It's a self-defense pistol. It's a different use case.
The phrasing
Yeah.
I needed to hear was you carry it a lot and you shoot it a little. And it's like, oh,
Sure.
yeah, that's the opposite of like a hair trigger gun. The one where you'd shoot it a lot and carry it a little. It's not
Yeah.
your everyday carry gun.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end, an M&P or a Glock is probably like the safest thing for like all around use, like one of the smaller ones. Even a Glock 19. Glock 19 is so small in my like frame, like it doesn't even fit my hand. That's the reason I never had one. They're so tiny.
I would need to practice a lot to be able to serviceably use an LCR, because like those I've held them before, and it's like it doesn't reach the end of your palm, and that's pretty tough. You know, like you don't feel in control. You feel like you're pulling that way a lot because the head. It's not a fun gun to shoot. You know, it's like this is a just in case kind of thing. So it'd be kind of a pain in the ass to learn that.
The LCP hurts to shoot. So for people who don't know, like, pretend your gun weighed 10 pounds. The bullet would do very little to like smack it in your hand. Well, this is a tiny, super lightweight. They've cut every gram from it that they can. So when you shoot it, all that energy, like the gun doesn't absorb it by being heavy. It smacks your palm. And
It vibrates.
And
It's like this, the recoil, the impulse like goes through the plastic grip into your hand, which does hurt a little. My biggest concern was like the length of my hand from here to here is longer than the gun allows. So to pull the trigger, I had to like do like I couldn't use this part of my trigger finger because the gun needs to be this fucking big for that, and an LCP is this big. So so I ended up having to like almost pinch the trigger against the back of it to like fire it. Yeah, I could never use one of those.
The advantage of the LCP, I insist, is not that you shoot it well; it's that it's actually in your pocket.
It's
right?
good. That's
you just hope that brandishing will be enough. We'll go, he's gonna
it wouldn't. It was so wouldn't. You'd pull that thing out and be like, "Yo, what is that, Holmes?"
But the gunfights I see on the internet are like two people at the same gas station pump, or two people in the same doorway, like places where you could hit anything with any gun. It's not 2 car lengths away, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Glock 26 is real tiny. I think that's what I'd go with. You get 11 rounds. You can get an extended mag. I think it is 12. Plus 1 in the chamber. It's tiny. Let me see if I can find a picture of a Glock 26 compared with the LCP.
Okay.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
We passed an hour, but I'm enjoying this conversation.
This thing looks ridiculous in Hickok 45's hands.
Oh God,
yeah.
that guy.
It looks of course, he's shooting it well.
Yeah, I bet he does. So Hickok 45. If people, there's nothing for reference, but that guy's like 6'5" or something. Like he's really.
I believe he's 6'6". Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's hitting everything he's aiming at. I believe he's using an aimbot.
Yeah, unfair. He knows this course.
I don't know why. Ignore that. I don't know why the link looks like that.
What is it?
I found a picture of someone comparing the two pistols.
He is hitting every single shot. And these are bottles of soda 25 feet away.
Yeah, so it's obviously quite a bit bigger. The LCP is one of the tiniest pistols there are. But still, you're getting so much more in that moderately bigger package.
And the difference is significant in a pocket.
It is significant in a pocket. You would not put the Glock in a pocket.
Sounds like some kind of kid's riddle or story.
Glock in a pocket.
A gun safety limerick. Well, anyway, you guys want to call the show?
Yeah. Next. Yeah, man.
Okay. PKN 312.